And I heard this week that President Trump said I had the right to overturn the election. But President Trump is wrong. Frankly, there is no idea more un-American.
First at 10, Pence pulls no punches. The former vice president takes aim at Donald Trump's contention that the 2020 election was something that could be overturned. He spoke during a Federalist Society event at Disney. West 2's Anika Hope was there while Governor Ron DeSantis made comments of his own.
Former Vice President Mike Pence created a stir while Governor Ron DeSantis echoed his main talking points. It was a chance for two men who could make presidential runs to talk to fellow conservatives, potential supporters, voters, and donors. 2 years away from the last and 2 years away from the next presidential election, and there's a buzz about both. Former Vice President Mike Pence spoke at Disney's Yacht and Beach Club in Central Florida Friday about 2020.
And I heard this week that President Trump said I had the right to overturn the election. But President Trump is wrong.
Former President Donald Trump said Pence could have taken action to order a recount of votes.
I had no right to overturn the election. The presidency belongs to the American people and the American people alone. And frankly, there is no idea more un-American than the notion that any one person could choose the American president.
Pence did not state that Trump lost the election or say claims of election fraud were false. He spoke to the crowd of conservative attorneys, judges, and professors who make up the Federalist Society. Governor Ron DeSantis spoke later, but didn't comment on what Mike Pence had to say. He instead reiterated his consistent core points. He praised Florida's handling of COVID-19. No to mask and vaccine mandates.
You're not only violating people's rights, you are crushing a lot of their hopes, dreams, and aspirations.
Former White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany joined DeSantis on stage, asking about topics from COVID to crime.
We are not releasing felons early in Florida. If district attorneys, we call them state attorneys, if you have state attorneys that behave like LA and San Francisco, I'm yanking them. They're going to be gone in a New York minute.
Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch later spoke at a banquet closed to the press. This comes as President Biden prepares to name his first Supreme Court appointment by the end of the month. Later this month, former President Donald Trump is expected to speak at the largest gathering of conservatives, CPAC. Governor Ron DeSantis is also expected to be there. DeSantis and Trump have been questioned about whether one would run against the other for the White House. It's not clear if DeSantis and Trump would appear together. At Disney World, Anika Hope, West 2 News.